afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, especially to our Professor Ma'am Joy Calva. I am the second reporter in Group 3 reporting Chapter 4 with the title of Profiling the Philippine Administrative System. The subtopics under me is the following: National and Local Government Relations, Political, Fiscal, and Administrative Autonomy, Trends and Development Efforts, Administrative System, Issues on Regulations, and Quasi-Judicial Bodies. National and Local Government Relations. The Local Government Code instituted a system of decentralization and deconcentrated field offices to the political subdivision of the state. Republic Act No. 7160, otherwise known as the Local Government Code, was enacted into law, transferring control and responsibility of delivering social services to the hands of local government units, like the responsibility of delivery of social services in the areas of environment and natural resources, tourism, health, local public works, agriculture, and social welfare and development. As we all know, there are agencies in the government concerning these areas, but because the Philippines has a lot of provinces, cities, municipalities, and barangays, the national government and its agencies cannot serve or address the concern of its people, especially those in far-flung provinces, cities, municipalities, and barangay. This is the reason of decentralization, or the transferring to local government the power to govern. Deconcentration, also known as administrative or sectoral decentralization, takes place when the central government transfer power, authority, and responsibility, or the discretion to plan, decide, manage from a central point to lower or local levels that are within the central or national government itself. For instance, the Agrarian Reform Program gives our provincial offices quasi-judicial power for handling land transfer and resolving land disputes. Same with the local government, that is given power by the national government to create laws and provide social services to the people freely without intervention of the national government. The national government promulgates general laws, set policies, and carries out rules and regulation. RA 7160 for one granted local units wider space for participatory governance over their community affairs, and more flexibility in exercising revenue-generating activities, while the President only assumed general supervisory power over LGU. RA 7160 or the Local Government Code are set to guide the local government operations. Other government agency also sets regulation like DBM, DILG, and the Commission on Audit in other specialized areas. Under the Code, the LGUs have the power to create their sources of revenues and levy taxes, fees, and charges subject to such guidelines, which may accrue exclusively for their use and which may be retained by them. The local government have also share in the national taxes, which automatically released to them. As you can see, there are two sources of revenue in the local government: external sources or outside source. These sources can be: number one, the internal revenue allotment or ERA that comes from the national government. Number two, share from utilization of national wealth, like mining operation, which the LGU has 40% of the gross collection derived from the national government. Number three, grants and donation from private or other government agencies. Number four, domestic loans. Number five, credit financing schemes. Ito yung mga pautang. While the internal sources or inside sources are: number one, taxes, fees, and charges. Example for taxes is the real property tax which we pay annually. Number 2, income derived from investments, privatized and development enterprises, and inter-local government cooperation. These sources of income is established by the LG like hospitals, schools, terminals, and slaughterhouses for the purpose of generating income. To help ensure the local government units conform to this power, they continue to be under general supervision of the President, with the help of the Department of Law, Interior and Local Government (DILG), act as a coordinating and central body in overseeing that their function and power are properly discharged according to the mandate of the Code. The DILG sets guidelines to be followed by the LGU. Slide number 4 illustrates the relationship between national government and the local government. The President has general supervision towards LGU, and LGU has direct supervision to subcomponents of the local government like provinces to cities, and provinces to municipalities, and cities to barangays, and municipalities to barangays. Political, fiscal, and administrative autonomy. The prevailing government laws, primarily the Constitution, are fashioned towards wider democratization processes, be it in political, fiscal, and administrative aspect of all department, government organization, government-owned companies, commission bodies, including public corporation. In the grant of administrative autonomy, government employees in the national and local bureaucracy are appointed based on merits pursuant to the rules and regulation of Civil Service Commission except for the following: classified as primarily confidential and highly technical of policy determining. The laws ensure the accessibility of all departments of the government, equal opportunity, and governing their respective areas. In the exercise of administrative autonomy, all department of the government has the free will to select and hire desirable employee based on civil service regulation except for the position classified as primarily confidential and highly technical of policy determining that is exempted from qualification standard based on Civil Service Commission Memorandum Circular Number 24 Series of 2017. Department secretaries and other officials of the cabinet rank who hold their position at the pleasure of the President is considered confidential possession. In the case of the LGU, employees appointed by the local chief executive or coterminous employee are considered confidential possession or confidential employee. Bureaucrats are likewise secured in regards to their employment and may not be removed without a cause. All employees of the government except for non-regular position are protected by security of tenure or legal guarantee that a political office holder cannot be removed from office except in exceptional and specified circumstances. Political autonomy is also served to elected government officers. The creation of local development council at local governments grants also for sectoral representation from diverse group of the community like women's sector, the labor group, and the disabled and elderly person among others. Political autonomy is a bare capacity of the local chief executive to make decisions for the common good of its people without intervention from the national government, like the creation of local development council that could help sectoral groups cooperate with the government for grants that could help uplift life. Judiciary as a government department shall enjoy fiscal autonomy according to Article number 8, Section of the 1987 Constitution as it reads. The judiciary shall enjoy fiscal autonomy. Appropriation for judiciary may not be reduced by the legislature below amount appropriated from the previous year, and after approved shall be automatically and regularly released. In the same vein, the Constitutional Commission's Article 9 of the Constitution shall enjoy same fiscal autonomy and shall be assured of automatic budgetary allocation. Judiciary Department is a branch of government which administers justice according to law. This is the Supreme Court and the lower court. This department enjoys fiscal autonomy, the assurance of timely appropriation, and regularity of release without delay. The Philippine Constitutional Commissions are Commission on Audit, Commission on Election, and Civil Service Commission. Trends and development efforts. Consistent with the goal of public administration, there are continuous development efforts that government and national and local levels are committed to push through, like rational bureaucratic reforms, encouraging participatory governance, promoting work ethics in the administration, and enhancing the capacity and quality of human life through responsible and accountable public service. The institutionalization of political values and ethical standards in the bureaucracy and the implementation of various laws enhancing the accountability of public officials and employees are all but manifestation of perking up the image and morale of the civil service. Many administrations have passed and have implemented reforms and development in the government. The current administration has also implemented development efforts in the areas of infrastructure through Build programs, the Ease of Doing Business program, and other efforts to improve and develop the way of living of the Filipinos. The intense crackdown of corrupt officials under this administration reflect the desire of the government to have public accountability. The trust over engineering governments is also a response to public view that government needs to be more efficient in contracting out services or deploying its responsible people for frontline services, while reorganizing the number of central offices and their employees by deconcentrating them when needed to field or regional offices where more personnel are desired to deliver social provisions. The government is on the go fixing government function to officially give social services to the people by deconcentrating workforce to the areas that needs the most. We can observe that in this time of pandemic where government people go to the field and gather data and address sentiments of the people. And currently at the time public officials and employees are very active in addressing people's needs. This development efforts is headed by the Presidential Committee on Effective Governance, but PSEG was abolished through Executive Order Number 355 Series of 2004 under President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo, transferring its function to the Department of Budget and Management. Currently, it is the DBM who is in charge and developing in efforts and developing our country. Administrative system. Perhaps one strong bargaining power of public administration in the Philippines is its plethora of laws, rules, and regulations. The existence of government regulations on every aspect of administration may be observed as the government's strength is seen on one side, while it may be also be its source of weakness on the other side. It is true that our laws, rules, and regulations help fight corruption in the government, and ensure effective implementation of government priorities in providing public services. But this plethora of laws could result to red tape or excessive bureaucratic or adherence to rules and formalities that could result to delays of implementation of government priorities. On the other hand, loose regulation of facilities and services that is contracted out to private sector may allow a certain degree of abuse and may foster a sort of negligence on the part of the said sector. Best example of this is the PhilHealth anomaly where PhilHealth and the OH lose their grip on regulating contracted private sector like hospitals and clinic in upgrading patient cases to gain bigger fees. Overregulation in many parts, on the other hand, may allow leverage for so-called fixers who peddle their tricks anywhere or everywhere in facilitating irregular transactions in exchange for a fee. It has been noted that one-stop shop arrangement has been set up in critical areas like investments and importations, but the pernicious practice of fixers continues, which flourishes and even patronizes in some respect. Overregulation causes delay and consume time to follow. This is the main reason why fixers proliferate in our community. People tend to pay money for convenience process. This could be addressed by simplifying the process and lessen but strengthening the regulation. Issues on regulation. The Administrative Code of 1987, known as Executive Order 292, set down one chapter, Book 4, Chapter 13 of EO 292 Contracts, pertaining to government contract and public bidding in the country. There seems to be diverse regulation standard issued by different agencies regarding certain use of utilities, facilities, or services. Hence, there is purportedly an absence of uniform standard criteria applicable to all. It actually varies from one department to another. The National Economic and Development Authority, or NEDA, issued a manual of regulation providing rules on hiring of consultants for foreign assisted projects, but hiring of local consultants has another regulation by the Department of Budget and Management, or DBM. The Commission on Audit (COA) also has its rules on regulating public bidding, government contract, and general hiring. Executive Order 292, crafted during Aquino administration, it is more or less 33 years and might lack provision that is applicable to date. Government agencies adapt to current situation where everything changes. This is maybe the reason why different agencies of the government issue regulation that is suited for their agency needs in procurement of utilities, facilities, or services, resulting to non-standard regulation. The question breeds whether or not it is possible to standardize a regulatory criteria, say, for public bidding. The, the issue content, however, that government agencies provide certain but differing services. They need to set individual guidelines in regulating the kind of services they offer. While it is likely to synchronize these rules, they are separately issued and require different submission to these various government agencies. Given the utilization of budget requires separate and different reports to various authorities, which necessitate an added personnel force. Every department of the government has different function, and the non-standard regulatory issuance is the product of this unique services or function. The OH cannot borrow standard from DPWH and DPWH to military and police for the reason that they differ function and needs. There are persisting demands for regulation, but according to National Economic and Development Authority or NEDA reports, it said this process is largely left to the discretion of operating managers, and there is little incentives for undertaking a really thorough review of regulations that may already be irrelevant, outdated, or unnecessary. In terms of international competitive bidding, this is normally done only for foreign assisted projects or for big tickets items like airplanes or tanks, for which there are no local agents available. Regulation is a tool of our government to ensure corruption-free transaction. Agency managers are given discretion in managing their departments and acquiring utilities, facilities, or services for their needs. NEDA said international competitive bidding are done only to big tickets project which needs for a supplier that is not available in the country. Quasi-Judicial Bodies. There are many administrative tribunals or quasi-judicial bodies where aggrieved citizens may file their instant complaint as a way to seek redress of grievance. Example, an employee in a business sector who has been dismissed from work without due process may bring these disputes of illegal dismissal before the National Labor Relations Commission or NLRC to resolve such controversy. NLRC is a quasi-judicial body under Department of Labor and Employment that is tasked to promote and maintain industrial peace by resolving labor and management disputes. Quasi-judicial body is a non-judicial body which can interpret laws. It is an entity such as an arbitrator or tribunal board, generally a public administrative agency which has power and procedures resembling those of court of law or judge. So, as a citizen who has been aggrieved from the action of or decision of public administrator, authorities can bring the matter for possible resolution to the ombudsman. In fact, any taxpayers or concerned citizen may bring an action for decisions before the Sandigan Bayan for a particular anti-graft or corrupt practices by a public officers from which act he has been disadvantaged. As to public officials and employee, any taxpayer could report wrongdoing to the ombudsman. This judicial body of the government are in charge and investigating and punishing public officials and employees for non-lawful action. The Constitution assures adequate legal assistance through the Public Attorney's Office or PAO in favor of a potential complainant and or qualified respondents of the case. The services extended shall be free of charge, as this ultimately is the aim of justice for all and the essence of equal protection of the law clause. Apart from PAO, the Integrated Bar of the Philippines and the UP College of Law extend free legal assistance to the public on meritorious cases. In the pursuit of fairness, the government established the agency of the government that unfortunate people who cannot afford legal assistance could seek help. PAO cater people who cannot afford private lawyers to defend them. There is Commission for Human Rights, which is constitutionally established under Article 13, Social Justice and Human Rights. The Commission looks into possible violation of the human rights of a citizen. There are other offices which can look at problems of citizens and protect them against the decision of public authorities on their own initiative. Very often, however, there are too many cases filed before these quasi-judicial bodies, but are simply unattended and gathering dust on the table because resolution of cases may take years, long years to promulgate. In the process, complainant may lose interest to obtain redress as the wheels of justice in the Philippines grind so slowly, leaving them to believe the adage that justice delayed is justice denied. The law never failed to put offices, agencies, or commissions for the protection of Filipinos, but our justice system needs boost to facilitate the task to produce timely output. Sometimes the delay of justice encourages people not to talk and disclose any government official wrongdoing, for they believe that government officials and employees are untouchable and exempted to the rule of law. Thank you, classmates and Ma'am Joy, for listening. This is the end of my report. Thank you.